Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for this unique opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I rise to contribute to the motion that this Honorable House adopts the financial policy of the Government of Ghana for the year ending 31st December 2019. Right Honorable Speaker, in doing so, I would like to commend the current government for touching on all the critical sectors of the economy. Mr. Speaker, before I enter my area of interest, which is the security of the state, I would like to point out a few facts as far as the health of the economy is concerned. Mr. Speaker, is it not a fact that the real gross domestic product growth increased from 3.7% in 2016 to 6.4% in 2018 within the 22 months of NPP's government? Mr. Speaker, is it not a fact that fiscal deficit reduced drastically from 9.3% in 2016 to 4.5% in 2018 as I speak? Mr. Speaker, is it not a fact that our public debt to GDP dropped from 73% to 64.4% as I speak? Mr. Speaker, so I was flabbergasted to hear that the minority spokesperson on finance, Honorable Atufosi, claiming that Nanado's government has increased our public debt from 122.2 billion cedis to 170.8 billion cedi. Mr. Speaker, the fact is, and our venerable majority leader keeps on correcting them. He keeps on correcting them that in doing proper debt analysis, one must work out the country's ability to repay its debt. So I'm surprised that the largest opposition party is talking too much. In fact, Mr. Speaker, they are becoming very irritating and annoying to the majority of this country. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to bore the House with the economic indicators, all pointing to the positive direction. Mr. Speaker, is it not a fact that the formation of Unemployed Graduate Association under the previous NDC government is no more attractive with the introduction of NAPCO, the Nation Builders Corp models, which has given jobs to over 96,000 graduates in terms of income earning and capacity building opportunities in this country? Mr. Speaker, to my area of interest, on the issue of security, and as part of the President's vision to retooling and equipping Ghana Police Service, Mr. Speaker, the President, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, the Chairman for the National Security Council, has deployed over 300 vehicles to Ghana Police Service within this shortest possible time. Mr. Speaker, in order for Ghana Police Service to be a world-class policing service, His Excellency, the President, has remained committed to provide them with the needed logistics so as to make it a first-class police service in the whole wide world. Mr. Speaker, in relation to Ghana Armed Forces, the Ministry of Defense, with our able leadership of Minister for Defense and his affable deputy, Mr. Speaker, the ministry will continue with the Senate housing project that was abandoned by the previous NDC government. The project located at the various garrisons in this country, Tema, Accra, in the Greater Accra region, Ho in the Volta region, Secondly Takoradi in the Western region, Tamale in the Northern region. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to announce to you that all these projects are at the various stages of completion. As is being captured in the budget statement on page 181, paragraph 6 of the budget statement and economic policy of the government of Ghana. The budget statement is here, so you can make reference to what I've just quoted. Mr. Speaker, in line with 2016 manifesto of the great NPP, the construction of the first phase of the 416 units housing projects of the Barracks Regeneration Project will be ready by next month, Mr. Speaker. And the ministry will start the second phase of the Barracks Regeneration Project come next year. Mr. Speaker, on the military health program, I was particularly happy when the Minister for Finance touched on the new 500-bed military hospital at Afari, near Kumasi. And I'm happy to see Deputy Minister for Defense, Honorable Major Derek Odro, who is in charge of this particular project, that the MPP government will definitely do justice to this project, which is very dear to the military as well as the civilians of this country. Mr. Speaker, it is very refreshing to see that Ghana Armed Forces capacity building has been intensified under the President of Nana Akufo-Addo's government. Mr. Speaker, let me seize this opportunity to commend Ghana Battalion Gambat 85 for their sacrifice and their commitment. Ghana's flag is flying high. They are making us proud. So, Mr. Speaker, good people of Menshianov, salute Gambat 85 for the work that they are doing for this country. Mr. Speaker, I would like to commend His Excellency the President to once again doing justice to the issue of promotions within the police service. Mr. Speaker, Mr. President has done very well by making sure that the issue of backlog of promotions within the security services are on course. Mr. Speaker, as I speak now, a total of 795 promotions of senior police officers being cleared, and also over 16,000 promotions of junior officers have also been effected. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of recruitment, Mr. Speaker, I can understand the enthusiasm of my colleague, but I am sure we have less than 60,000 policemen in this country. How on earth could you promote 60,000 officers out of less than 60,000 men and women?
Order. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think it was needless intervention because you should have listened to what I said. I said over 16,000 junior officers.
Order. Honorable member, that's unparliamentary. Withdraw and continue.
Mr. Speaker, respectfully, I withdraw. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of recruitment, we saw that this year alone, over 4,000 personnel recruited to enhance the numerical strength of Ghana Police Service. And Mr. Speaker, let me point out that per the United Nations standard, police population ratio, every police officer must govern 500 civilians. Mr. Speaker, as we speak now, there should be about 230 police officers to every 100,000 population. But in Ghana here, we have 127 police officers to 100,000 population. It's one of the lowest in this world. So, Mr. Speaker, we as government is committed to make sure that per the UN standard, we bridge the gap. And that is the reason why, His Excellency, the President is so committed that we recruit more officers or personnel into the service. Mr. Speaker, I have nothing, and that is on the issue of recruitment process. I have nothing against academic competence or medical scrutiny or criminal record of a prospective applicant. But, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of height, as a requirement, I have a strong reservation. And I think the time is now to review the existing law. Mr. Speaker, because now in this modern age, intelligence gathering is more of brain work than physical strength. So I'm surprised that somebody will be booted out because of his or her height. Mr. Speaker, I crave your kind indulgence to refer the House to paragraph 7 of page 185 of the budget statement and economic policy of the government of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, respectfully, and with your kind permission, I beg to quote, the service also submitted the non-custodial sentencing bill to Attorney General's Department for legal advice. In 2019, the ministry would facilitate the speedy passage of the non-custodial sentence bill into law to help ease congestion of the prisons. The service will improve security procedures and safety as well as modernize infrastructure to reduce the incidence of escape. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to appeal to the Office of the Attorney General that as a matter of necessity and urgency to expedite action on the draft bill. Mr. Speaker, this is because when the non-custodial sentence option is fully considered, it will go a long way to ease the unbearable congestion in our respective prisons. Mr. Speaker, permit me to refer the House to page 187, paragraph 3, or item 977, that in 2019, the Gaming Commission will procure in 2019, Mr. Speaker, the Gaming Commission will procure a central electronic monitoring system and intensify monitoring of gaming operations to increase mobilization of non-tax revenue. Mr. Speaker, let me seize this opportunity to commend the CEO for Gaming Commission, Mr. Peter Mreku, for doing very well as far as gaming is concerned in this country. Mr. Speaker, he has brought a lot of reforms, and I'm happy to inform the House that going forward, we're going to recruit a lot of revenues as far as gaming is concerned. Mr. Speaker, in line with 2016 NPP manifesto, NPP believes the strict enforcement of the existing laws by our security agencies without selectivity, without bias. Mr. Speaker, we are determined to make sure that we will provide resources to our security services in order to deliver efficiently and effectively. Mr. Speaker, Finally, I want to quote one of our forebears in the person of Dr. J.B. Dankwa, that the party's policy is to liberate the energies of the people for property-owning democracy with right to life. With right to life, freedom and justice as the principles to which the government and the laws of the land should be dedicated in order specifically to enrich property, to enrich life, property, and liberty of each and every one.
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, I want to end here by saying that the current NPP government remains committed to make sure that we beef up security in terms of providing the citizenry with public safety. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I rest my case. Thank you.